Well, as you know, there has been a firestorm hanging over this PGA Championship, the issue being the Ryder Cup and compensation for the players. The Ryder Cup is a biannual competition between the United States and Europe, and since the event began shortly after the turn of the century, players have never been compensated. They've been playing for pride and country, but that is not enough, according to several marquee Americans. They have expressed their desire to have a hand in the distribution of the profits. Now, the Ryder Cup is governed by the PGA of America, and we are joined right now by the CEO of the PGA of America, Jim Awtrey. And Jim, this is the first time you've publicly commented on this issue since Tuesday's press conference, which you thought kind of brought an end to everything. Your press conference was on the heels of a meeting you had with the players. But let's see if we can bring some clarity to this story. A lot of people, I think, are a little confused. Did anyone in that meeting, any player, specifically ask for cash compensation to play in the Ryder Cup?
No, we had an outstanding meeting. What we had is the top 16 players in a room. We discussed, do you want to be paid for play in the Ryder Cup? And it was a unanimous no. The players' only concern, if you can call it a concern, was we'd like to see some charitable dollars go back in support of our own personal communities or charities, which is totally in agreement with our philosophy. The money that we're putting back into the game and into charities, that's consistent. So it was unanimous when we were through. It was not about being paid to play.
So when people say that, they're asking to be paid to play. That is a misnomer, is what you're saying. Really what they want is more of a designation of charity dollars in their name. And are you prepared to accommodate them with that?
Absolutely. We've said to the players, this is consistent with what we would do as the PGA anyway. We've said we're going to work on this over the next few months. By the end of the year, we'll have a plan to accomplish that. And obviously, we want to do that as soon as possible. This is not an issue with the players on being paid, and we're set on charitable contributions.
Where is the issue right now, today? You think everybody's satisfied then?
In my opinion, listening to the players, during the meeting, after the meeting, there is no issue over pay for play. This is put to bed. It is not an issue. We're going to work on charitable contributions. The integrity of the Ryder Cup, the historical significance of what it stands for as the preeminent event in the game of golf is intact. And now the only focus that I heard from those players is go to Boston in September and bring that cup back.
Now, you're a nonprofit organization, and I guess the proceeds have always gone back to the game or to charity. But how do you work out a system where you give some back to the players? Because I believe you told me that some players don't want to get involved in that. They're willing to go with the status quo. Is that true?
Well, it's true that this is not really an issue. But what we want to do is we want to show support for the communities and charities of these players, because that is what the Ryder Cup is about. We're also about the growth of the game. That's what the PGA focuses on. So we're going to do that. We can accomplish that by making contributions to charities in the name of the players.
Why wasn't that resolved now? You say we're going to do this later on, we're going to resolve it at the end of the year. The players wanted it now. They wanted an end to this story.
No, the players were not concerned about when this was done. They have trust in the PGA, and we will do this by the end of the year, and they're perfectly comfortable with that. The focus now is on winning the Ryder Cup, and that's where they are now, and it's not an issue with them. One
thing that was spinning off this whole story came Wednesday when Ben Crenshaw, in a passionate press conference, expressed his displeasure and consternation at a few players. At that time, he did not name those players. And do you feel, because there was some reaction to that by some of the top names in golf, specifically David Duval had a few things to say. Do you think this is a PGA of America issue now, or is that a team matter?
Well, I think the issue of the captain is a competitor, the team's competitive, they're going after the cup. The issue that we've been dealing with is pay for play. That's not an issue any longer. Charitable support is, and as far as we're concerned, that issue is put to bed.
All right, so there you heard it. The players will be able to designate some charity dollars of their choosing.
That's right. We said we'd have the final plan by the end of the year.
All right, Jim. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the championship. Jay Haas, again, nearing that tee time with Mike Weir, Tiger Woods, and Lee